Then from there we went to a fogey, that was our next village, and stayed there overnight. And next day we went up on a Mission Ridge, Brigade Hill at least. Mission Ridge was a part of it, went up on the Brigade Hill. And the next, we were there for a day, and the next morning our loot came around to tell us that the Japs had got in behind us during the night, which was a handy thing. We didn't see them, but apparently some of them saw them with lanterns going along the riverbank. And then a little later after that, our platoon, and I suppose other platoons too, we were sent down to try and suss them out, gauge the strength of them, what it was doing. That's when Barley Harris, one of the two Harris brothers, was killed just alongside me, and then we went back and reported what was doing and that. And that's when we were sort of got together and spoken to and done. We had to try and break out because they were that side of us and they were still that side of us. And we had to try and break out and go back in the same area where I'd been fired at but missed when Barley Harris got killed. One had just clipped a tree near me. And I thought, this is going to be handy going into the same little group. And just at that stage, Harold Sullivan, I was in the extreme right of 11th platoon. He must be in the extreme left of 12th platoon. And we were sort of moving together, and he got his tin hat clipped. I won't use the expression that he used about how close it came to him because it's, pretty rude. And with that, we split. And then they must have reckoned I was a bigger target than Sully, and that's when I got hit. But I got hit not by the blokes from front of me, I got hit from the blokes behind me. When I got hit, it was like being hit by a train because it was pretty close range. I still think it wasn't a rifle, it was probably one of the single bullets machine gun because it hit me in the hip. And I can tell a bit of this without going to water. It hit the bone, which is the best bone to hit. The thickest bone is the bone I sit on. It didn't break the bone, fortunately for me, because I probably would have died of pain had it done so. But then the bullet broke up, and I've still got about a dozen little pieces in my hip. And then the rest of the bullet blew out of my groin. And I had gone overhead a couple of times and fallen into a depression. And I just lay there and I thought, well, I know I'm dead, you can't be hit that bad. And I knew there was a lot of crap in front of me, and I remember thinking to myself, fancy dying in a place like this, Well, I suppose I thought you had to die in hospital. And so I lay there for a little while. And I thought, well, no one knows I've gone down. And I thought, well, I'll try and get out of this. I didn't feel, that was what I mentioned about before, about not feeling pain. After a while, I thought, well, I know I'm something bad, but I feel all right. So I thought, well, I've got to try and get out of here myself. So I half stood up on my good leg, but my right leg was paralysed and I fell down again. And as I did fall down, a machine gun burst hit the bit of a rise I was trying to get up onto. That's luck, isn't it? Otherwise I'd have been probably cut in half. So I just lay there, couldn't do anything. And so I knew that I couldn't do anything. And after I'd been lying there for a while, I heard a male voice, which I recognised, call out, come on, B, come here, follow me. And I realised it was George Wright. And I thought, that's funny. And then I heard again, it was a bit closer to me. And as I got closer, I yelled out, George. And he came over to me, he said, what are you, should have been pretty, what are you doing there? I said, I can't get up. Can you help me? It's hard to believe how the Japs didn't follow up when, I suppose they reckon they'd made a job of it the second time. And how they didn't come up and stick a bone to me, I don't know, but that's someone didn't want, anyway. So he said, what are you doing there? I said, I can't get up. Can you get me help? And George had been creased along the left temple, left side of his head. And what had happened to him, he'd become disorientated and he was going the wrong way. Calling out to B, come to front. He was heading back to where the main body of the Japs were. So I told him in later life, we both saved each other's life without getting a commendation. I saved his life from down there, but he went somehow back to company headquarters or something. And after a little while, a chap came who was not our stretcher bearer, but he was an ex-policeman, Barney Kilmurray. And because he'd been a policeman, he had a bit of medical knowledge, and they were made stretcher bearers for the day. And he came and had a look at me, and I won't repeat what he said because it was foul language, and he went away again. I thought, well, I know I'm crook, and I'm still not feeling it. I thought, I must be finished, because he's gone. Anyway, after a while, our proper stretcher bearer, Johnny Johnson, came. And Jono crawled underneath me and carried me out. He took me back to wherever the bit of a base was, and they cleaned me up a bit. And I remember thinking to myself, that's the first I saw how big the hole was. I thought, I know this sounds silly. God, you could put an orange in that, or an apple. Why would you think something like that? And anyway, they put me in a stretcher, and they covered my head up with a blanket. I know I feel they didn't tell the reason that was. I think things were so bad they probably thought we would be overrun and that I'd be mutilated on the stretcher. No, I think that's why it was. And I remember one of our blokes. Doesn't matter. I remember him saying, "Don't worry, Jimmy, we won't leave you," and they wouldn't have. That Leo Bracegirdle, he was in the same company. He said, "Don't worry, Jimmy, we won't leave you." I don't know what they would have done, but he was the sort of bloke would have died with you. And just shortly after that, I heard a voice. It was my elder brother's. I heard him say, "I believe you got the young bloke here." And they said, "Yeah, he's under the blanket." Well, I suppose his first thought was, so he pulled the blanket back and he said, "Oh, you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." They put my thumb up and away he went, because I was still feeling okay. That was the 8th of September. I got to hospital the 8th of October, 31 days later. For the first 26 days, apart from that field dressing, I had no medication whatsoever, not even an Aspro, for 26 days, until we were found again, when we'd been, because, you know, we were carried for a while and then they gave it away because our own blokes were carrying, well, the 27 were carrying us, and we were left behind. It took about 2.5 weeks before they found us again. I believe that, I mean, I can say this, I think there was about 3 lots went out looking for us and two didn't find us. The third one only came across one of John Burns had given one 10 bob or something, and he'd contacted some blokes and they come out and found us again. One of the serious parts about it was the day we were found that when they found us, of course, we're all in tears. And I remember when they cleaned us up and put us on a fresh stretcher or a blanket and they started carrying me, I got riddled with pain from head to foot. And I remember saying to myself, which I do quite often, still talk to myself, don't give up now, you've hung on this long. But I was riddled with cramp because we'd had no salt all that time, and I was cramped from head to foot. And they had a medical officer, he said, "Here, get that in, to get me a handful of salt." I got into the hospital at King's Hollow, and of course we were in a hell of a mess. And the first person to greet me next day was Bert Madigan, the chap who'd got lost looking for the mail. And Bert had got about 20 little flesh wounds, and that was Bert's way. I wish he could get back to the unit. I was thinking, excuse the expression, I was thinking bugger the unit, the way things had been for me for the last month. And the next person to visit me was brother, but he was only there for a day too. He'd been in there again with malaria and was on his way home. While I was in there in hospital, because we only had male nurses, and I couldn't even sit up, and I was confined on my back all the time. Lying and couldn't they nice white sheets and white pillowcases, a bit different to sleeping with your kit bag for your pillow. And I remember lying on the back and, you know, a couple of wogs on my pillow, and I flicked them away. Bloody hell, you know. God, that got my head too. So anyway, when the male nurses came past, I said, "Hey, I see you've got bugs in this hospital." He said, "We didn't have the bastards before you mob moved in."